I was talking to a client of mine a while back. They sent me on one of these T-Bosia training courses and the Hewitt underwater escape training, and then they sent me off to the various facilities. And I remember after talking at their gas hub, we were going to head off to one of their off-site oil rigs, and we were trucked out to the helipad, and we were waiting for the arrival of the helicopter. And the helicopter was a bit delayed, and the sun was fairly high in the sky. It was approaching midday, but it wasn't summertime as such. It was sort of April, May time. And everyone sort of piled out of the van and started chatting socially. And I looked up at this sun, and I started feeling quite uncomfortable, and I spoke to the driver of the van. I said, look, have you folks got any suntan lotion in the van? And she said, you know, apologies, it's something to remember for the future, but we haven't. And I earned a little project cap from them out of that, because they did have a cap in the van which they loaned me. But every day that I step outdoors, I'm forever looking at the position of the sun and trying to determine how I can face the good side of my body towards the sun. And it's exactly because I have a bad side that I'll never forget the night of the 11th of March, 1994. My day started out pretty ordinarily, much like I'm sure many of yours would have. Ripped off my pajamas, dived under the shower, got myself ready, and then drove myself off to work. But that night ended in a way that I never ever imagined. See, I went back under the shower, but I was still at work, and I still had all my clothes on. And instead of driving myself home, I was driven away from the factory, not home. I wouldn't see home for weeks, and I wouldn't see work for months. And I never got undressed that night. My clothes were physically cut off my body. At the time, I'd been living in Johannesburg. My wife and I had a 2-year-old son, and we just recently found out that we were going to be blessed with the birth of our twin daughters in about 7 months' time. We were very excited. I remember we went off and we bought a book called The Twins Handbook, and we were there trying to work out how we were going to deal with this new sort of aspect of our lives. One of the quotes from that book, I remember, said that you can never give twins individual attention. The best you can offer them is group therapy. So we were sort of trying to work out how we were going to cope with these issues, you know, how we were going to feed the girls, and you know, I was going to hold the one while my wife was sort of nursing the other one maybe.